All right, so in this video, we are going to evaluate these trig ratios, and we're going to use our double angle formulas, which I have listed on this little small paper over here. And we're going to do these without a calculator because these are all going to be using the special triangles. So let's take a look at the first one over here. We notice that the first one over here is the same as sine 2 theta because we have 2 sine theta cos theta, which basically means that theta is 45 degrees. So 2 theta is 2 times 45, which is going to be 90 degrees. Now, again, if you're allowed a calculator, you can just put this in your calculator, and basically we know that it's going to be in degree mode because the angles are in degrees. But like I said, I'm going to use special triangles and graphs, so I'm going to do this without a calculator just in case. So you can solve this using a sine graph. You know that a sine graph looks like this, where this is 360 degrees, and then this is 180, and then 90 is right here. So sine of 90 is the maximum right here, which is 1. Okay, let's go to the second question over here. We have cos squared 30 minus sine squared 30. So cos squared 30 minus sine squared 30 matches this first equation for cos. There's 3 equations for cos. Matches this one over here. So I know theta is 30 degrees. So 2 times 30 is 60. This is just going to be the same as cos of 60. Now we can figure out cos of 60 using our special triangle over here. So cos of 60 is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is just 1 over 2. Again, you could solve that with your calculator in degree mode as well. Let's go to the third question. We have 2 sine pi over 12 cos pi over 12. So now it's in radians. And it's again the first sine formula. So we know theta is just pi over 12, which means 2 times pi over 12 is going to be pi over 6. I'll show you the calculation on the side here. 2 times pi over 12, this 2 and this just cancels, and you're left with pi over 6. The sine of pi over 6, again, we can solve this using our special triangles. Just make sure it's in radian mode this time. If you're doing it in your calculator. So this is a special triangle in radian mode, and sine of pi over 6 is opposite over hypotenuse, which is again 1 over 2. Same answer as the last question. Fourth question is pretty similar, but now we're just using the cos formula again. The angle is again pi over 12. Theta is just pi over 12. So 2 times pi over 12 is just pi over 6. And this is the cosine equation, the first one right there. So cos of pi over 6. You can actually use the same special triangle over here. Cos of pi over 6 is just adjacent over hypotenuse, which is just square root 3 over 2. Fifth question here, again, we are using the third cosine formula over here. 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. Theta is just 3 pi over 8. So 3 pi over 8 times 2 is just 3 pi divided by 4. Then we're using special triangles over here to solve, but now we're no longer in the first quadrant. It's not a regular special triangle. 3 pi over 4 is actually in the second quadrant. So if this is 3 pi over 4, it means that the acute angle is pi minus 3 pi over 4, which is pi over 4. Special triangle with pi over 4 has 1, 1, and root 2. But since this is in the negative x quadrant, this is actually a negative 1 over here. And cos of 3 pi over 4 is just adjacent over hypotenuse, which is -1 over root 2. Let's just rationalize this to negative root 2 over 2 if you need to rationalize. And last question over here, we have 2 tan 60 cos square 60. This actually does not match any one of these identities here. But we can actually simplify it first. We can convert the tan into sine 60 over cos 60. Then we have the cos square 60 here. And now this cos 60 will cancel off with the square. You're just left with 2 sine 60 cos 60. And now this matches this over here, this double angle formula over here. So 2 times 60 is going to give me sine 120 degrees. And again, this is no longer a simple special triangle. 120 is actually in the second quadrant, like this. So this is 120, which means that this angle here is 180 minus 120, which is 60 degrees. And opposite of 60 degrees, I know, is root 3. Adjacent is 1, and hypotenuse is 2. And this is just going to be a -1, because again, this is the negative x quadrant. And sine of 120 is opposite over hypotenuse, which is just root 3 divided by 2.